What's good, Brotherhood Podcast? Bringing you a great episode with Cooper, Flagg, and Rachel Baker coming your way. We'll talk about the season, games coming up next week, and we'll talk about branding and NIL. Appreciate y'all coming on, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So as you guys know, the main event, the Intelligence Choice, y'all know him. Rachel Baker here is the general manager for Duke basketball. She has experience with Nike, WNBA, and the NBA. She's super important behind the scenes to our program. So we're going to start with you. What's the overall thoughts on the team so far?
Overall thoughts on the team is great. I think we have an incredible group of guys. First two exhibitions went pretty well. Still a lot to work on, but I'm excited.
Thoughts on playing in Cameron in two exhibitions?
It's incredible. The atmosphere is different, and I think we're still gonna get to different levels in Cameron. I don't think we've seen it
it gets way better.
So it's incredible though.
How you think you have evolved and changed since you got here?
How I've evolved? I think I've probably just matured a little bit.
Yeah.
What?
Sure.
She don't believe.
No, I think I've matured. It's a different part of everybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Going to college, so I've definitely had some new experiences, done some new things. I think I matured a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. What are you surprised about our team since when you first got here? What's changed? What surprised you?
Surprised. The biggest thing I would say is just how quickly everybody's able to connect.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been on a team before where everybody was able to have such a good connection right from the jump and just get along really well. And there's not really any disconnects
Facts.
in the team. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So, obviously coming from the summer, we went from 8 hours and now we had 20 hours a week. How have you adjusted to that? Or
it was rough at first. The first couple weeks for sure. I was exhausted every day. But I think as we've kind of gotten to the routine, it's definitely been better. Getting massages, going to bed a little earlier, just getting ready, being more prepared.
Do you have a favorite moment since you've been here?
I'd say probably Khan's dunk versus Lincoln was probably my favorite moment. I think I was more excited than he was.
Yeah, he needed to celebrate. He just ran back down.
Yeah, I think he just surprised himself too much to celebrate.
Yeah, we got work. We got to help him with his celebrations or whatever. We got a home opener in Maine this next Monday. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, that's where I'm from. So just having an opportunity to come out and compete against the team where I'm from was really exciting for me. I'm going to have a lot of people from Maine that I know are especially coming for this game just to come support them and me. So it should be really fun.
What's Maine like? I never really experienced it.
Oh, it's pretty standard,
Standard what?
A standard state, northeast state, 4 seasons.
It's just normal.
It's similar to here, just a little more snow. Maybe it gets a little colder.
Yeah.
But some very beautiful views, a lot of trees. But there's still a lot to do.
I'm gonna come up there soon, make a trip, see what it's talking about. We got a lot of noise around this team, and you personally, especially as the season's getting going, getting closer. How do you feel about the process, and how do you stay centered?
I think for me, it's more about just focusing on each individual day. Practice, just focus on each practice, the next game that's coming up, instead of worrying about what other people have to say. That's kind of been for me the biggest thing. What do you think, Rachel? About? You have to deal with the noise a lot.
Yeah,
so
you do.
What do you think?
We're about to get to you anyway. So what you think about the noise?
Yeah, I just want your opinion.
I think each year has been really different in how we're trying to handle the noise, how we're trying to encourage you guys to handle it. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. So I think talk about, you guys say all the time, being where your feet are, trying to stay grounded, how close you guys are as a team. I think it makes it all easier because what I say all the time, we can try and give advice. The coaches can all try and give advice. You guys are the ones experiencing it. So I think the closer you all stay, and the easier it'll be.
Has this been the most hyped team since you've been here?
Last year was a little, I'd say yes and no. Last year with so many returners, we felt really, and then you guys coming in with so much talent, it felt like everyone was no question, we're going to come out, beat everyone by 30. I feel like there was a lot of hype last year. So it's similar. I think how we're handling it is a lot different. How we're encouraging you guys to handle it is a lot different.
Yeah. So for the fans who don't know you, can you walk us through your role and what you do?
Sure. It's different every day. I think my background plays a big part of it. I come from a sports marketing background, brand marketing, that sort of thing. So dealing with relationships, your families, how to integrate all of you into this experience here at Duke. All of us are in the business of recruiting. So knowing that how I work with our creative team, how we're putting our roster together from like a personality perspective, things like that, just kind of depends really on the day.
Okay, okay. Coop, how do you balance your interest in getting like the new NIL deals, keeping that like aside with basketball and stuff like that, like keeping the main thing the main thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes to what you kind of just said about just keeping the main thing the main thing. Obviously, but there's a lot of opportunities with NIL and stuff now, so it is a balance. And I think it's a good balance. Like it's something that once you are able to kind of figure out, and if you have the right support system and people around you to help manage it, I think Rachel helps with that a lot.
Yeah.
But just being able to have people that can help manage that makes it a lot easier to just balance. So you know which opportunities you want to kind of take advantage of, and you can do so in a way that's allows you to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, Rach, what is your role in helping us keep this balance, and what do you suggest?
I think it's about understanding that you guys are all different and getting to know Cooper when he got here, and that even more so, I think basketball is your primary focus and NIL is a result of that, but not anything you want to spend too much time on. So I think that you've been really great and intentional about how you can use this opportunity to take advantage of the platform with that while trying to make it as light of a lift as possible, which is our goal with all of you. But I think how close I am with our creative team, with our coaching staff, and understanding you guys and what the priorities might look like, and then trying to be the bad guy when I have to and make things easier on you so you can all reach your individual goals.
Yeah, Coop. So, how much did like the exposure and the brand pop at Duke weigh into your decision to come here?
I mean, it was definitely like very interesting for me. I mean, that side of things was never something that I was primarily focused on. I think, like Rachel said, it's kind of like a outcome of all like the basketball stuff. But seeing like some of the stuff like they were able to do with Zion and like some of those type of people, obviously is something that you have to look at and take into account. So I think it definitely played a role for sure.
For sure. As a follow up, how important was the total money you make in college a factor in your decision?
Not at all. I mean, that is some of the like stupidest thing that I see for
Yeah.
people like deciding in college now. I feel like a lot of kids are almost kind of ruining their not chances, but kind of like putting themselves in a bad situation almost just to try and get some money.
Yeah.
I think it's like you should focus more on the situation you're putting yourself in and where you want to be and the people you want to be around rather than how much money somebody's going to give you.
Rach, I know not every player will have the same answer as Coop, but what are you seeing with recruits and our guys?
I think similarly to what I said about what you're doing when you're here, as we're recruiting each one of you, like we kind of try and gather some of that background so we know what to focus on. So with Coop, like we knew it was a basketball decision. So we did our pitch in here about the hub and our creative team and what the brand opportunity was, but we knew at the end of the day you wanted to see how you're going to get coached, how you could develop, and how you could use Duke to go on to the next level. I think that's primarily what we think most of. We want to recruit players where basketball is the most important thing. So, but it's hard, to your point, about asking these 17, 18-year-olds and their families to make decisions about their future when you're factoring more money than any of them could have ever imagined right in front of them. It's hard to make these long-term strategic decisions about the step after this. So to your point about how it's hurting a lot of people in regard to being able to make the right decision, we've seen that to an extent, but I think education is the biggest thing. And so I have relationships with agents, our coaching staff does, like making sure that everyone in their circle really understands the opportunity that they have and the factors that they should be considering. And of course, money's a piece of that, but we really, really try to make that not even close to the main thing about us. It's a result of the opportunity here. It shouldn't be the primary factor.
As a follow-up, we all are excited about the big games and the bright lights of Duke.
Yeah.
It's pretty much why me and Coop probably came here. What are some data points or conversation starters you start with guys that you're recruiting to back it up?
you all have heard it, so it'd be interesting to hear if you'd say that this rang true through the recruiting process. But our whole Duke proposition is, of course, you have the opportunity to dream big, and you try and dream big, but here you're dreaming biggest. And what that means from a development perspective, a bright lights, biggest stage perspective, the opportunity here, and the things that I primarily focus on with our creative team is the metrics around our following. So we have 5 million followers across all channels, which is more than a bunch of NBA or a couple NBA teams, NHL teams, an NFL team. I think something like that. It's the most in college athletics, more than any other football team in the country. When you look at our total viewership, when you look at total viewership in the space between basketball and football, Duke basketball is number 5, and that's behind, I think it's like Michigan football, Ohio State football, Georgia football, some things like that. So when you talk about like the opportunity here at Duke, the numbers absolutely don't lie, and we try and really lean into that so that you know that if you're like Cooper and you may not want to host the pod, you still have the opportunity for people to get to know you every single day, and that's a big piece of going here. And it's a testament to the success of this program over the last.
That's why you come to Duke.
Exactly.
Yeah. Coop, you haven't been super active on social media. Does that play? Is that like a factor? You said earlier, just focusing on basketball. Is that to play a part in that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, social media and like being really active on it is definitely something that it has to be like an interest. Like I know a lot of people that are pretty active on social medias, and I feel like it's more of just like an interest for them, something like they want to lean into and something like they enjoy doing. But for me, it's just never been a thing of, oh, I'm excited, let me go post on Instagram, let me get these pictures out, let me comment. I was like,
Yeah.
So for me, it's been more of just like I've never really been super interested into it. But there's definitely a lot of opportunity with that also. So trying to find that balance of not wanting to and still being active at the same time.
Yeah, Rach. So, what's recommended with social media and using it to enhance players' personal brand? How do we help guys? Just use it to enhance their brand.
I think it's 2 things. It has to be authentic. And again, if you get to know Cooper as a person, it would be, if he started showing up on the internet like Jared, we'd all be like, what? Like, it wouldn't make sense. So I think that it has to be authentic to really who you are. And then also, I think identifying ways that make you stand out, make you look different, whether it's to different brands, because that's what brings opportunities. And I know I tell you guys this all the time, but if you're all posting the same kind of images and they're super polished, and it's just you in your Duke uniform with a caption, a song, whatever, like how do you differentiate between yourself and another school's point guard or whatever it may be? And I think so identifying what it is that has nothing to do with basketball that makes you really different, like really what your brand is, and then talking about that all the time. Deals, good NIL deals come when it's natural and in line with your existing interests. And that's where I think we've tried to pull out some of those things, like both about your personality, but also the things you like to do every day.
Yeah. Coop, I saw you're the first male college athlete to sign with Gatorade this week. Talk us through that deal, and why did you choose to sign with Gatorade?
Yeah, I mean, as far as why, I think me given the opportunity. I mean, I grew up drinking Gatorade. I don't know.
Yeah, me
you
too.
probably did too.
Yeah,
So
I already know.
I mean, like when you grow up drinking a drink like that, and then to have the opportunity, it was kind of just made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like Rachel kind of talks about NIL deals that make sense. Just having that connection, it just made it easy.
Yeah. Any other deals you were especially proud of?
Especially proud of. I don't know if proud is the word. I mean, like, I would say like the New Balance deal. Like, obviously, I'm very excited to be in that partnership and continue to work with them. I'm really excited about that and the opportunity that I have with them for sure.
Yeah. Follow up. Do you have any long-term goals or big dreams on the NIL side? I mean, you probably accomplished them all. Gatorade, you can't really get better at Gatorade.
Nah, I wouldn't really say I have any NIL dreams. But I think that goes back to more just letting NIL be about be like an outcome of all this success and hopefully the things that we can do on the basketball court.
What's your process like with potential NIL deals? Can you walk us through, like, you walk the fans through what it looks like and who is involved and how do you decide which deals to jump on?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with like a support team. Like I have an agent. Obviously, Rachel is here to help with a lot of that stuff. So I mean, some brands will come in. Usually it goes through my agent. Deals can come in. We will discuss them, go through it with my parents. If it's a deal we want to think about doing, something we want to consider, how it aligns with us, or also like how much time we have. I think definitely with the season getting going, it's going to get a lot harder to really do anything
Yeah.
outside of basketball as far as the NIL stuff. So kind of just picking the right times to do things is a big part of it as well. And I think just having conversations with the people that matter most to me and deciding what we want to do.
Yeah, Rach, what's your role specifically in, getting deals, and like what's your process? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, as most of you guys have agents, which makes my life a lot easier in a lot of ways. And so it's a lot of inbounds. And I think it's deciding to that point what makes sense both in the time that we have and also with the brands that you all are trying to put out there and how it then aligns with what we're trying to do here at Duke and as a team. And I think making sure that the team goals, your individual goals, and your family goals are all aligned is what makes and making it as, again, to say like as little of a distraction as possible. And I think knowing you all as well as I think I do, it helps a lot in saying like this feels like the right thing. It doesn't feel like the right thing. And I think the one really fun part to see that I think people don't see as much from an NIL perspective is kind of the experiences that you all have been able to provide, not only yourselves but your families, that wouldn't necessarily be the case. Like Coop being able to go to F1 on an NIL deal, like your family grew up watching racing, you just share that with your parent. Like that's something that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, and see like when you sit down with your parents and your agent and deciding that there's, whether it's on a small scale, like getting an event catered like you've done, or on a bigger scale, like identifying that fashion and the community are really important to you. And then they're going out and putting you on a stage a couple weeks ago to talk about mental, like things like that, that I think that it's not all, so much of it is not all about money. So I think identifying those lanes with you guys and your agencies are kind of how I can fit in.
Yeah. What is one thing you think is widely misunderstood in the landscape of NIL?
I think it's probably that. Like, first of all, I'd say it's not a big of a piece. I'd been to a couple college practices before I took this job, and it's not like practice every day. Existing around you guys every day feels that much different because now you make money. Like it's a component of this, but it's still a side job, I think, for both of you and everyone on our team. It's something that happens very infrequently, and the essence of college basketball, the essence of Duke, our culture, I don't feel like has been impacted by that.
How do you see everything shaking out with this court case and how the future of NIL looks?
I'd say in the next 6 or less months, universities will probably end up paying athletes directly. So I don't think collectives are going anywhere, but I do think the result of it is going to be a true rev share model, and what that looks like, I don't think anyone completely knows yet. But it'll be interesting to see how many of, I guess maybe you can opt into the House policy and get a piece of that settlement. And I mean, it's more to come, but I think the more direction, the more guidance we have, the more, I guess, rules that do exist, so we're not all existing in a gray area, the easier it'll get to circle all the way back around to what you were saying, Coop. The easier, when you can level the playing field from a cap space perspective or contract perspective, it will benefit the athlete in a way that we're all just trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge or hurdle in helping our guys maximize the NIL?
I think time. I was talking to Kyle a couple days ago, and he was like, couldn't believe how much time he has now. Like, you're in the NBA, and like you go to practice for a couple hours, you go home, you get to the arena, you sit around for an hour and a half before the game. Like, you guys have a lot. Class is a lot, and then you have study hall, and then we're trying to fit in a hour shoot here or there for the minimal things that we do from an NIL perspective, and then you're watching film, and you're trying to be mentally ready and physically ready and all the things. It's a lot. So I think that would be a main thing.
Time. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hop right into fan questions. We're gonna start with you, Coop. Dave Bradley wants to know who wins in a long drive contest, Cooper Flagg or Coach Shire?
Oh, long drive, definitely me. Coach Shire, he's okay, but he just doesn't hit it far.
Mama Flagg, who is better at golf, Cooper Flagg or Rachel Baker?
First of all, we haven't played together in how many months? So Kelly may be better at answering these questions, but you're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely better.
Okay. Jenny Williams says, tell us more about your bond with your mom and how she's influenced your game.
You said about my mom?
Yep.
I mean, the relationship I've had with my mom, I mean, we've been incredibly close. Obviously, she was on the coaching staff with Man United for 2 years in UIBL. So her just being around so much, she was always taking us to the gym, taking us to practice, whatever it was. So she's had a tremendous impact on my journey, on my basketball path. And I mean, she handles a lot of things for me still.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, working with my agent, working with Rachel almost on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, she's had an incredible impact on my journey. So, I mean, I wouldn't probably be here without her.
Yeah. Andrea Bowles says, with all the hype and success that you had at a young age, how do you stay grounded?
I think for me, it's about staying hungry and just wanting to play basketball.
Yeah.
Like just loving to compete, loving to win, loving to get better. Just playing basketball has always kind of been that for me.
Dylan Shank wants to know, now that you're locked in with Gatorade, what's your favorite flavor?
I mean, it's gone back and forth for a long time, but I think right now it's probably yellow. Lemon lime.
Yellow. Brandon McStay says, have you thought about NIL deal with a funeral home for when you catch your bodies this year?
Nah, I haven't thought about
That's a
that.
good idea, man. Hey.
I didn't know where that was going for a minute.
CST James 23, do you actively search for NIL deals or do they find you?
I mean, for me, I would say that they kind of have all come to me. It's not really been something that I actively look for. But I think that goes back to what I was saying about however you want to play. If you're somebody that's really active and wants to look for deals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or like somebody like me who kind of just wants to play basketball and let that sort of thing just kind of happen over time.
Yeah. Rosa Hits Dingers says, what motivates you the most?
What motivates me the most is probably just getting better. Each and every day of coming to practice, playing hard, knowing that I'm going to get better every single day, competing against all the guys at practice.
Yeah.
And you're
Kyle.
one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, I'd say. That motivates you a little bit.
Yeah, competitive spirit for sure.
Okay. Kyle Mick 34, questions from Maine. What is it like for a kid from Nokomis walking into Cameron Indoor?
I mean, it's crazy. Something I dreamed about when I was younger. People told me I could never make it to high level, things like that, because of where I was from and where I was growing up. So I mean, it's like a dream come true every time I'm inside Cameron. So yeah.
GVB says, do you like lobster? What's the best place to get fresh lobster?
I'd be lying if I said that I like lobster. So I could not tell you where to get the good lobster from.
The one thing, so Coop came on his visit and we're trying to make him feel like we learned about you, your community matters. So we did like a lobster dish for him. And it was the day before, it was like a couple hours before the event. He was talking about how much he hates lobster. And we're all sitting there like, well, intel matters. So
Michael research.
Bad research, huh?
I know.
Damn,
my
we
bad.
still got you, though, so it's good. Michael Morgan says, did other schools have a shot with you, or did you know it was Duke the whole time?
I mean, I wouldn't say I knew it was Duke the whole time. I mean, I went through the process like most kids do, I think. Had a lot of interest from some other schools and talked to them a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just what it came down to. I don't know.
Big Lou Bigger Stash says, how good can this team be defensively? I'm stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I think our team can be really exceptional on defense. We have a lot of different guys that play a lot of different ways. I'd say the biggest thing, like Malik and Kaman, like the biggest difference between them of Malik kind of having really active hands and being able to pressure a lot of guys, with Kaman just bringing that rim protection.
Yeah.
I think just our size all around, it's it's going to help us a lot.
For sure. Back fans question for Rach. DH the composer. How important and involved is your role in the recruiting process? You hear so much about guys getting offered cash. How is Duke different?
I'm pretty involved in the recruiting process. It wouldn't be a surprise to anyone that they don't want me to evaluate players, but once the coaches decide who they think is important, I'll connect with their families, or then of course once they get here on campus, just talking about everything off the court that we can offer. And to this day, with any of our recruits, and you two can speak for this too, money has been the last conversation, if at all, that we have. So it's not try to keep the main thing, as you guys say.
Yep. Ashley Egram says, what advice would you give to a female basketball player looking to follow in your footsteps?
Sweet. I think how you treat people is really important. Your network's really important. Working hard. I did play a sport in college. There was a lot less to do back then, so being able to intern and just really get experiences. No job, I think, even now, is ever too small, and being a figure it out kind of person is what I think's kind of defined the different roles that I've had.
Mark Stuffer, funniest NIL deal ever offered to a Duke player?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I mean, Orion Young had like this flower shop.
Oh, yeah, Neil just got it. Shout out Neil Begovic.
Yeah, Neil Begovic got the flower shop.
Bego.
deal, man.
Yeah,
That's
that was a pretty good one.
Flower shop?
Yeah, like a flower shop.
Local one.
Yeah. Fitzgerald, what's a typical work day look like for you?
In season and out of season, it's definitely different. We meet as a staff first thing in the morning. I will go to practice and sit and film when I can. Different meetings across campus between trying to figure out how we can make all these things come together. We have like an external team that works on everything off the court for you all. I talk to both of your families at least every other day, agents, that sort of thing. So it's always different. And then, of course, as you all know, I travel with the team, so things will ramp up a little bit here soon. But
What about your golf lessons?
I fit in golf lessons once a week when I can. I travel too. I'm locked in on my golf lessons, but
Dope. Ren Dog says, how has your role changed and evolved since you started?
my role in a lot of ways changes based on the roster we have, and then also what the NIL rules are. So when I first started, the first presentation I ever made to the coaches was talking about how we're never going to have a collective, and that's not the kind of school we are, and all of those things. So once we've built that side of it out, and now the NCAA has allowed us to be involved in the deal making process, in the deal pitching process. So that's been something new too. And I think the biggest thing for us is just staying agile and committed to Coach Shire's vision. So as long as those two things apply, I've been trying to kind of adapt to the landscape.
Yeah. Kevin Tarcia says, what has been the most challenging aspect of your role in the NIL era?
I think it would be the most challenging of my role, part of my role in any era. I hope you guys feel this. I deeply care about all of you and your futures and the outcome of all of this, winning and losing games, that you can accomplish your individual goals. And there's really good days, and then there's some tough days with that. And I think that navigating the family that we all are has been the hardest part. It's the most rewarding part too, because when it's great, but the lows are challenging.
Yeah, for sure. Ziggy Man says, where did you get your cool fashion sense from, and what is your fashion inspiration?
It's generous.
Did you co-sign on that, Coop?
What? No, I didn't say anything.
So my mom's a stylist. So I grew up, she
really?
works in fashion, yeah. So from a very young age, she was on me about how I left the house every day. And so that's certainly where it came from. And then when I started at Nike, you guys would be probably surprised by this. I never wore sneakers ever unless I was working out until I started, all through until
You wore heels and stuff?
not just I wore boots. Could you even imagine? It's crazy. I never wore sneakers. And I started at Nike, and really what did it is it became such a conversation point. So I was going to these EYBL tournaments and stuff, and I didn't hoop, and people probably didn't even notice that I worked there, but I became the woman that wore cool, gee. And my boss at the time, one of my best friends, he like educated me on like the streetwear style of this, which is what I'd say defines so much more of my style now.
Yeah.
So I always cared about clothes and looking good, but the way I dress now definitely came from like my experience at
Your
Nike.
mom. That's what's dope. We're gonna finish off with quick hitters for Coop. So let's get right into it. Your best Halloween costume ever.
I would say like the little scream, like the scream with the
Yeah,
mask and like
yeah.
the cape.
Yeah, it's dope. Favorite Halloween candy.
Skittles.
Most underrated candy.
Hershey bars with the almonds.
Most overrated candy.
Probably like Reese's.
Man, you don't like the Reese's, right?
Nah, they're good. It's just a little overrated.
Start, bench, cut. Halloween candy, scary movies, pumpkins.
Cut scary movies.
Mm-hmm.
Start the candy. What was that one?
Pumpkins.
Yeah. Bench scary movies. Cut the pumpkins.
Okay, pumpkin pie or jack-o'-lantern.
Pumpkin pie.
NBA Finals match this year and the champ.
Celtics.
Celtics.
Celtics for sure. Celtics are winning. In 4. But who would they play?
Play the Suns, bro. They're playing the Suns.
Yeah, they'll play the
Celtics
Suns.
All right, bet. NBA MVP this year.
Jason Tatum.
Deep look. Best defensive player in the NBA. I'll say like McDaniels, right? McDaniels be locking shit.
Lou Dort.
Lou Dort. Toughest player in the NBA.
Toughest player in the NBA. Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Favorite arena you hooped in so far, excluding camera.
That's a great question. Probably the McDonald's one. Where's that? Houston? The McDonald's game?
It moves every year.
I think it was in Houston.
Houston, Michigan.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Funny.
Says who?
I don't know. 3 words. I don't know. You describe me in 3 words, Rachel.
Yeah, go ahead, Rach.
Confident, competitive,
Mm-hmm.
Take that.
kind.
Yeah.
And I would add to that,
No, that's good.
misunderstood. I think you're a little misunderstood.
Describe a perfect off day.
Oh my God. Waking up about 10 o'clock,
Mhm.
get some food, and then in bed all day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe on the game for a little bit. But yeah, just don't leave my room. Just sleep.
Favorite kicks off court.
I'd say, my New Balances, probably like the 1906s.
Yeah, for sure. Best all-time athlete for Maine.
I would either say Nick Kenner-Medley or Troy Barney's, 2 basketball players.
Mhm.
Both played overseas for a while.
Yeah.
Had long careers overseas, so probably one of them.
Not Kelly Flagg.
No. she is in the Maine Basketball Hall of Fame, but
No, okay then. Mama Flag. Most recent show or movie you watched?
Ooh. I just watched the newest Outer Banks.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah, I
pretty
gotta watch
solid.
it. It was nice. You
It was
finished it?
solid. Yeah, the first 5. I don't know when the next 5 come out.
Favorite spot on campus?
Probably Wilson.
Wilson.
That's why. Actually, I'm just
I thought you were gonna say the Woo. I think you guys
that
love
was
the
a good
Woo.
answer. I was just gonna say Wilson because that's where I sleep, but
Oh, not Wilson Gym.
oh no, not the gym.
I was
the
shocked.
dorm. The dorm where I
What?
Nah,
Got
I haven't even been in Wilson Gym. Actually, I have, but
Best restaurant in Maine.
that's a good question.
You need an NIL deal to answer that question, I think, on the pod.
Yeah, face.
Yeah, no free publicity here.
Favorite place in Maine?
Favorite place, Newport, Maine. It's where I grew up, was born and raised. It's Bascook Lake.
Have you found a go-to restaurant in Durham? Yep. If so, what is it?
No, I wouldn't say go to. Nah, not really.
Okay. Last two. Duke in the NBA all time, starting five.
I would say JJ Redick,
Mm-hmm.
Zion, Paulo. That's three.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I'm trying to think who else I would throw in there.
Tatum,
Oh, Tatum for sure. Damn, I got a lot of people.
Kyrie.
3, 4. Yeah, probably Kyrie.
How many is that?
That's five. That's five.
Okay. Last one. Message for Duke fans starting Monday.
My message for Duke fans: just be ready, be excited.
Yes, sir. Well, Brotherhood Podcast, that's all we got. Appreciate you, Coop. Appreciate you, Rich, for coming on.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Tune in next episode. Yes, sir, man. Good shit, y'all. Teamwork made the dream work.
Yeah.